It is, without a doubt, one of the strangest variants of a high-volume vehicle on sale in the US right now, the 2018 Chevy Equinox fitted with the company's 1.6-liter Ecotec turbodiesel. That's right, one of the most typically American platforms fitted with an engine type that, especially given the Volkswagen Group's recent difficulties, has never been more than a niche player on these shores. Shrouded in scandal and old prejudices, it's hard to imagine many Equinox buyers checking the expensive option box to fit the oil burner to their crossover. At least, on paper. That's why we spent a week in one, schlepping all around town and with plenty of freeway time, to figure out if this thing makes any sense given the deck seemingly stacked against it. That's not a declaration of anti-diesel bias, it's just a reality check given the headwinds this type of engine faces in the US, and actually, even in Europe in recent years. Diesel has a lot going for it, even if the relative brilliance of the TDI was a sick joke at everyone's expense. Diesel engines provide torque and excellent economy, at the expense of potentially higher fuel costs and a powertrain that is more expensive to produce. It's the thrift that's probably the biggest benefit to an Equinox buyer, because there's no increased towing capability. It's rated at only 1,500 pounds, compared to 3,500 if you properly equip an Equinox with a 2.0-liter turbo running on gasoline. Nor is it the cheapest Equinox, compared with a like-equipped gas Equinox LT, it's a sizable $1,345 more. The Equinox diesel's 32 miles per gallon combined on the EPA test cycle beats the 1.5-liter turbo gas engine by 4 miles per gallon, and given the real-world disappointment inherent in small gas turbo engine fuel economy, it's probably a bigger advantage out in the wild. The disparity is much larger with the optional 2.0-liter gas turbo i4. To underline this a bit more, the EPA estimates the yearly running costs of the two vehicles to be about the same. This assumes that diesel costs about 40 cents more per gallon than regular gas, 55% of your driving is in stop-and-go traffic, and that gas turbo engines get somewhere close to their EPA rating out on the road. Again, all this points to the diesel having an advantage, but perhaps not for an upcharge that's equivalent to a year's worth of fuel. Where the diesel shines is on the freeway. The front-drive diesel is rated at 39 miles per gallon on the highway, versus 32 miles per gallon for the smaller gas engine. Our AWD-equipped tester gets a 1 mile per gallon ding on the EPA highway test and achieved about 32 miles per gallon indicated over the week we had it, which included at least 60% city driving. On flat sections with the cruise set, the turbodiesel will return much closer to 40 miles per gallon indicated. If you have a long freeway commute or plan to take a lot of road trips, there's a case for the turbodiesel over the 1.5-liter Equinox. This is a lot of preamble before getting to how it drives, of course, but it's important to set the stage. The Equinox itself isn't much different than the 2.0T-equipped crossover we drove earlier this year, so we'll focus on the aspects that are divergent or especially notable. To put it another way, you don't have to pay extra attention to keep the Equinox diesel from wandering about, even on rutted pavement and grating. The turbodiesel makes a modest 137 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque. But the important thing is that the torque is easily accessible and readily appreciable. This is not a fast vehicle by any stretch, taking a long time to build up speed, but it pulls away from a stoplight or up a ramp with initial authority. It also has just enough punch to make it dart around at stoplight speeds. Although there's appreciable turbo lag, there's enough low-end torque to make up for it. So there's some baked-in goodness inside this adaptable platform. And somehow in a segment that's more about practicality and price than driving dynamics, the Equinox has some real charisma. The Equinox's turbodiesel consistently exceeds its EPA expectations, something that no turbo gas engine is able to do. You'd have to be just a bit unconventional to own an Equinox turbodiesel.